As a neuroscientist, I love studying the brain. It's a fascinating organ that never stops working. Until, of course, you decide to stand in front of a room full of people and talk. That's probably not the only time you might feel like your brain stopped working. Do you remember the last time you stubbed your toe, nicked your finger, or felt a sharp sting? All you could probably think of was the pain. You probably screamed, cried, even cursed until you felt that pain subside. Perhaps you took some medication or went to the doctor. Anything that might help you feel better. Now, most of us are lucky. The pain sooner or later goes away and we go back to living our lives. Playing in the pool, going on a hike, even doing laundry. Okay, that last thing might be still a little painful. But what if you had physical pain that never went away? Imagine living with constant pain, being in agony, day in and day out, for years, even decades, unable to enjoy the simple things we all take for granted because pain is a constant companion. Sadly, this is a reality for millions of people all over the world who suffer from long-term or chronic pain. For such chronic pain patients, once the pain becomes severe and persistent, there are virtually no other treatment options but the use of opioid painkillers such as morphine, oxycodone, or fentanyl. But these medications have their own set of issues. Opioids are now recognized the world over for their potential for addiction and for causing fatal overdoses. These drugs have resulted in over 500,000 deaths in the United States in just the last 2 decades. Some time ago, in response to this opioid epidemic, several medical and legal guidelines were put in place to regulate the use of these drugs. Unfortunately, these guidelines also made it very hard for chronic pain patients to receive adequate pain relief, and they were left to seek out other illegal and highly dangerous drugs, once again increasing addiction and overdose rates. These two public health issues of chronic pain and addiction became intricately interconnected because of the one big thing they had in common: opioids. The issue is, while opioids are okay to deal with short-term pain, they're really bad at treating long-term pain that requires, chronic treatment. Anyone who takes opioids runs the risk of developing an addiction. Your personal history, the amount of time you took opioids, and many other factors may play a role, but as of right now, it's impossible to predict who could eventually become addicted to these drugs. The problem is opioids are wedged in a bad spot between pain and addiction. Using opioids for pain relief is like trying to parallel park your car in a tight spot between two others. You're constantly checking in front of you and behind you to make sure you don't hit either car. Now, parallel parking is challenging in the best of circumstances. But what about here? Or here? My own hometown. Yeah. You can be the world's greatest driver, but sometimes you're just in a bad spot. When we use opioids for pain relief, it's like trying to parallel park somewhere in the middle of this chaos. As we keep trying to squeeze into this tight spot that exists between pain and addiction, we end up bumping into one issue or the other. So you might ask, how do we manage to fit in this spot? The solution I found wasn't parallel parking. Just do what I do. Park somewhere else. I study pain and addiction for a living. And over the past several years, I've been studying a rather peculiar body system called the endocannabinoid system. The system was discovered in the 1990s when scientists were studying the effects of cannabis. They found that the human body naturally releases some chemicals like those found in cannabis. This system is what is responsible for all the effects that we feel when we take cannabis, THC, even CBD. Importantly, it also regulates many important biological processes such as addiction, such as mood, metabolism, immunity, memory. It constantly helps to regulate these processes by releasing chemicals on demand as and when needed. That's not all. This system is also shown to have a very strong potential in dealing with pain. You see, a lot of research indicates that whenever we feel any kind of pain, the endocannabinoid system activates by itself and releases chemicals that help suppress pain. That's pretty cool. Now, I want to be perfectly clear here. While this system was discovered when scientists were studying the effects of cannabis, you do not need to take anything external to activate it. Important parts of this system, called cannabinoid receptors, are found in nearly every organ in our body. And over the past several years, my research has specifically focused on these cannabinoid CB1 and CB2 receptors. I've been working to find new ways to help target them. And what I have found is that if we modify the activity of these receptors using very selective drugs, we can achieve great pain relief for both short and long-term pain. That's not all. If we combine these selective drugs with opioids, we're able to block some major side effects of opioids, such as addiction, withdrawal, even fatal overdoses. Now here's the kicker. This combination therapy is a far more effective form of pain relief than using opioids alone. This means we could potentially prevent or delay the use of opioids for pain, reduce their dosage and the amount of time for which they're needed, and block their side effects. Imagine living in a world where people aren't afraid of becoming dependent on their medication. A world where the list of drug side effects isn't as long as a pharmacy receipt. As we look to the endocannabinoid system for answers, there are endless possibilities for innovative solutions to the twin problems of pain and addiction. A lot of this work is still in progress and is so far limited to the laboratory, along with many other promising endocannabinoid-based therapeutics for a broad range of diseases and disorders, including anxiety, chronic inflammation, epilepsy, post-traumatic stress disorder, and a whole lot more. We are just beginning to uncover the amazing potential of this system, which is within all of us, and are slowly gaining an understanding of the tremendous impact that it has on all our lives. By looking for answers in this new spot, we may finally be able to safely park between pain and addiction. Thank you.